Good morning, my dear students. My name is Twayna and currently I am available at the Hamlet Tuition Center, Brahmatul, Kathmandu and Kumudini Kunja Secondary School, Kathmandu. My dear students of grade 10, this is your science class, and in your science class we have been discussing the life cycle of invertebrates lesson. In our previous class we introduced about honeybee and its structure. Well, regarding its structure, there is a term heteromorphism in honeybees. Okay, hetero means multiple, morph means form. When a single species of living being appears or exists in two or more different forms, then it is called heteromorphism. Okay, heteromorphism is observed in all animals. Like in human also, there is duomorphism. There are two different forms of human. Male and female are totally different. Okay, however, the heteromorphism may not be visible, or it is not shown in case of dogs and cats. Male and female both appear to be same. Okay, except for their reproductive system organs, okay, they appear to be same. There is no distinctive differences. Yes, however, in case of honeybee, there are three different forms of honeybees exist. Three different forms of honeybees exist which belong to same species. Okay, and these three forms are known as worker bee, queen bee and drone bee. Worker bee, queen bee, drone bee. That is why the honeybees are also called trimorphic. Trimorphic. Tri means three. Morphic means form, having three different forms. Honeybee, Apis mellifera. Although they look different, don't be confused. They are not different species. They are not different species of honeybee. They are same species, but they exist in three different forms: worker, queen and drone. Okay, now worker bees are sterile. Okay, sterile means they do not have reproductive organs developed. Their reproductive organs are not developed. Although they are females, worker bees are females and they do not have well developed reproductive organs, they are sterile. And sterile means they cannot produce any eggs, or they cannot produce any offspring. They will just they are born, okay, they grow, they will work and they die. Okay, they grow, work and die. That's all. Okay, and queen bee, it is also a female bee. Just like worker bee, queen bee is also a female bee. And queen is the only female which can lay egg. Queen is the only female which can lay egg. So the role of queen bee in a hive is to reproduce. Okay, to produce more eggs. Every day queen produces more than 300 eggs every day. Okay, and the worker bees, they take care of the eggs, and when larva hatches from egg, they feed the larva. Okay, and when the larva becomes pupa, they protect the pupa. They protect the pupa and they cool off the hive to keep the larva and pupas alive. And when the young honeybees or young worker honeybees come out of egg, they assign work to the new or young workers as well. Okay, so the main role of queen bee is only to reproduce. Okay, and if the workers think the queen is not capable of doing what she needs to do, then the workers would kill the queen. By all the workers surround the queen, and they completely cover the queen so that temperature of the core will increase drastically, and because of overheating the queen will die. So see, you see, queen is not actually the queen, isn't it? The workers rule there. Okay, and the third form is drone. Drone is male. Drone is male bee. Okay, and their function is also to reproduce. They produce sperm and they fertilize the queen. Okay, they produce sperm, they fertilize the queen. They mate with queen, and during mating they donate sperm to the queen, and queen stores these sperms in her abdomen. Okay, when the queen lays egg, she also releases small amount of sperms on the leg to fertilize them. So in case of honeybee, fertilization is not internal, fertilization is external. And drone bee and queen bee, they do not go out for searching nectar. They do not go out for searching nectar, and they do not make honey. They play no role in honey, in making honey. Okay, now let us take a short note on worker, queen and drone. Let us see what are the major differences here. Okay, first of all, sex. The queen bee, it is female. Drone bee, male. Worker bee, female. Fertility. The queen bee is fertile. It is egg laying. It lays egg. Drone bee is also fertile. It produces sperm. Worker bee, it is sterile. Sterile means it does not produce neither egg nor sperm. They do not take part in reproduction. And their size, the queen bee is the largest in a hive. Its size is around 20 to 25 millimeter, that is up to 2.5 centimeter. Drone bee, they are medium in size, around 15 millimeter. So they are shorter than female or shorter than queen bee, but they are fat. Okay, they are fat. And worker bees, they are very small, around 10 millimeter, only 1 centimeter. So you can see the queen bee is 2 times longer than worker bee. Okay, queen bee is 2 times longer than worker bee. And another difference between queen bee and worker bee is worker bee has a curved sting, but queen bee has straight sting. Okay, so worker bee, once they bite someone, once they sting someone, they cannot take it out of the skin. Okay, they have to die after stinging. But queen bee, since their sting is straight, they can sting to others multiple times. Okay, it is like sword. Okay, the sting of queen bee is like a needle, but sting of worker bee is like a hook. Okay, so what is the role in the hive of the queen bee? The role of the queen bee in the hive is they lay eggs for producing more bees. This is the more important role. And then they control the overall activities of the hive, and they unite hive. Well, queen bees produce a special kind of chemical which is rubbed on all the members of the hive, and it is with that smell that worker bees identify the member of their hive. If a worker bee from another hive enters into their hive, then they will immediately kill it, knowing that it is from another hive, knowing that it is not one of them. They will kill it. Okay, so how do they know whether the particular worker bee is their own member or not? With the smell, and that smell is produced by queen bee. Okay, so basically queen bee unites the hive. Okay, now what is the role of drone bee in a hive? They fertilize the females during nuptial flight. We will discuss about nuptial flight later on. Okay, they fertilize the females during nuptial flight, and after fertilizing they die. So the drone bee, their only motive of their life is to fertilize the queen, and then they die off because they do not know how to feed, they do not know how to search for food, and they do not know how to make honey. Okay, they have no option but to die. Okay, isn't it sad for drones? Okay, girls may not feel it, but boys feel it. Yes, boys think it is sad for the drone, isn't it? Okay, now what is the role of worker bee in a hive? As soon as hatching from pupa, they clean the cell. The worker bee, the youngest worker bee, they clean the cell. The very cell which they are born, they will clean it. Okay, after cleaning it, after during the second week, they develop wax gland. Okay, worker bees develop wax gland, and they start to produce wax, and by using that wax they will start to make new cells. They will form new cells in which eggs are kept. Okay, and after few weeks wax gland degenerates and the bees guard the colony. When their wax gland degenerates, it becomes deactivated, then they cannot involve in making new cells, but what they do, they will guard the colony. They become the guard bee. Okay, because yet they cannot make honey, they do not have honey glands developed. That's why the only thing they can do is guarding the cells, guarding the colony, and they will do it. They will guard with their life. Okay, and when they get matured, they will go for collecting pollen and nectar and forming honey. Okay, so it is the worker bee that does all the work of a hive. Okay, and in the hive, if temperature rises too much, the larva, egg and pupa, they might die. So they regulate the temperature of the hive also. So how do they regulate? They beat their wings very fast. Okay, they buzz their wing inside the hive very fast. So because of that buzzing, air is produced. It will work like a fan. Okay, and that air will cool the hive. Yes. Now, lifespan of queen bee: a queen bee lives for 2 to 5 years, whereas a drone bee lives only for 4 to 5 weeks, and worker bee, they live for 6 to 9 weeks. And special feature: queen bee have elongated abdomen. Yes, queen bee have elongated abdomen and straight sting, whereas drone bee, they are very thick body, and they do not, because they do not feed in adult stage. They need to be fed in their larva stage. Okay, they need to store as much energy as they can in their larva stage. Okay, that's why they are very fat. And worker bee, they are the hard working units. Any confusion up here? Okay, pause the screen, copy this table. Okay, then let's go to next title of ours: life cycle of honeybee. Just like other insects and just like silkworm, life cycle of honeybee also completes into 4 stages: egg, larva, pupa and adult. Egg: the queen bee is the only one that lays egg in a colony, and a queen bee lays around 300 eggs in a day. So this is what queen bee does all the day. It keeps on laying egg. All it does is laying egg. Yes, and after laying egg, she releases small amount of sperm from abdominal pouch. So when queen bee mates with drone bee, fertilization does not take place immediately. Okay, instead the drone bee donates sperm to queen bee. Yes, drone bee releases sperms inside the abdomen of queen bee, and queen bee stores these sperm in an abdominal pouch, in a small pouch inside its abdomen. So after laying egg, she releases a small amount of sperm on each egg. Okay, and they are fertilized, and she leaves some of the eggs unfertilized as well. That means she does not release sperm in some of the eggs, and these unfertilized eggs will become drone. Okay, she leaves some of the eggs non-fertilized. She does not release sperm over some of the eggs, and these non-fertilized eggs become drone, whereas fertilized eggs become worker or queen based on their diet, and workers decide which eggs to be queen and which eggs to be worker. Okay, next point, the eggs are transferred by the workers into one of the hexagonal cells of the hive. See, you might not get a separate room at your home, but honeybee, since they are egg, they get a separate room in their home. Okay, so they are luckier than you are. Okay, number 2, larva. After 3 to 4 days, eggs hatch into larva. The larva remains inside the cell. In case of other insects, larva comes out and they go for searching food. Yes, the adults do not feed. But in case of honeybee, larva do not have to leave the cell. Larva remains inside the cell. The adult honeybees, the worker honeybees, they feed the larva. Okay, they feed the larva. Okay, so each larva, during its lifetime, each larva receives up to 8,000 visits by workers. So larva stage remains for around 1 week, and in that 1 week, workers visit to larva almost 8,000 times. Each larva, okay, each larva, to each larva workers visit 8,000 times, up to 8,000 times, and in each visit they will bring some food. Okay, they will bring some food and feed the larva. So workers feed the larva. Larva don't have to go searching food. Okay, the larva from non-fertilized eggs, look here, this is very important point. The larva from non-fertilized eggs are fed on royal jelly for 3 days. Royal jelly is special type of food produced by bee which have very high concentration of nutrients. Royal jelly is highly nutritious food. Okay, so if the eggs are not fertilized, then the larva from that egg will be fed on royal jelly for 3 days, and then after 3 days they are fed on mixture of honey, protein and pollen, and the mixture is also called bee bread because it is the regular food of bee. Okay, and that is the same food that adult bees also eat. That's why it is called bee bread. So for 3 days they feed special royal jelly to larva, and 3 days they feed normal food, that means bee bread. In that case, these larvae will become drone bee. Get it? Now if the larva is from fertilized egg, then they are fed on royal jelly only for the first day. Only on the first day they are fed with royal jelly, and then rest of the days they are fed on bee bread. Okay, to whom? To the larva which hatches from fertilized egg. So these larvae, they become worker bees. Okay, they become worker bees. And if a new queen is needed, in the hive, now once again see, who decides that? Workers decides that. Larva do not queen does not decide it. Workers decide it. When workers think a new queen is needed, then workers transfer several fertilized egg. Remember, fertilized egg into royal chamber, and royal chambers are larger than regular chamber. Chamber means cells. Okay, why do they need to be larger? Because the larva for the queen must be large, isn't it? And the larvae from these eggs are fed with royal jelly for all 6 days. So if they want to make a queen, they will only feed royal jelly to the larva. They will only feed royal jelly to the larva, and since royal jelly have very high concentration of nutrient, these larvae are twice as big as the worker larvae. Okay, these larvae are twice 2 times bigger than worker larva. Okay, and these larvae, they will become the queen bee. Got it? And the larva molts for 4 times during 6 days cycle. The molting we have already discussed in silkworm, isn't it? Here also same thing. After few days, exoskeleton develops, which does not let them to grow further. So they have to shed that skin, that exoskeleton, and that process is called molting. So larva of honeybee molts 4 times. Okay, so with these 3 points you can justify, or you can come to conclusion that fertilization of egg determines the sex of bee. If the egg is fertilized, it becomes female. If the egg is not fertilized, it becomes male. If the egg is fertilized, it becomes female. If the egg is not fertilized, it becomes male. Okay, whereas the diet or royal jelly is needed for development of reproductive organ. See here, to develop drone, it is fed on royal jelly for 3 days. To develop queen bee, it is fed on royal jelly for all 6 days. But worker bees are fed on royal jelly only for the first day, or only for the first time. Okay, and then they are fed on bee bread. So feeding of royal jelly is necessary for development of reproductive organs. Since worker bees do not get enough royal jelly, they do not have developed reproductive organs. That is why worker bees are sterile. Okay, let us continue. Pupa. After 5 or 6 days, the larvae are fully developed, and then they will stop eating. Okay, and just like silkworm, they also spin a cocoon around themselves. Cocoon is a protective covering around their body, around the larva. Okay, and inside cocoon, metamorphosis occurs. You know metamorphosis, the rapid changes that takes place in the body of larva. Yes, some organs present in larva are disappeared, or some organs which are not present in larva will emerge, they will be developed. So metamorphosis is the process in which larva becomes adult. Okay, metamorphosis is the process in which larva becomes adult, and that process occurs inside cocoon. Okay, now see the time of metamorphosis for the queen. The time of metamorphosis for the queen is shorter than others. Okay, so pupa stage of queen bee lasts only for 7.5 days. The queen bee is developed within 7.5 days. You know why? Because they are fed extensively on royal jelly. They are high on all types of nutrients and energy. Okay, so all the processes in their body goes faster, so they develop faster as well in pupa stage. Okay, drone bee, they develop in 14.5 days, and worker bees, they develop in 12 days. Okay, now let's discuss about adult. Adult bee hatches out from the pupa. Okay, if the worker bees are hatched out, then they get to work as soon as it emerges out. Okay, and it starts its work by cleaning the birth cell. The cell in which it was birthed, it starts to clean that cell. Okay, after a few days, the wax gland develops and it resumes the duty of cell maker. If when wax gland develops, it can make wax, and by using that wax, it makes new cell. Okay, cell maker or builder. After a few days, the wax gland degenerates, and then it becomes the guard of the hive, and when it completely matures, it goes for foraging. Foraging means collecting nectar and pollen and all those things. Okay, it goes outside. Yes, if the queen bee emerges from the egg, then what happens? It is quite interesting. The queen bee, their fate is worse than worker bee. It seems like the queen has good fate, isn't it? रानीको भाग्य ठुलो हुन्छ यस्तो देखिन्छ, but that is not so in case of honeybee. Okay, as soon as queen bee emerges from the egg, Notice the workers, they do not put only one egg in the queen cell, royal chamber. They do not put only one egg in the royal chamber. They put multiple eggs in royal chamber. So what happens? Multiple queens emerge. Multiple queens emerge at the same time. Okay, then they have to fight to each other. There is a fighting pit in which they have to fight. The queen bees have to fight. They have to fight to death. The queen bees have to fight to death. Okay, only one queen remains at the end of the fight, and for that purpose, for killing other queens, they have retractable straight sting. They have sting which is very straight and which can be taken out easily. So they can sting more than once, not just once. Workers can sting only once, but queen can sting often. So after several stinging, only one queen bee is allowed to live. If more than one queen lives, then sometimes it happens, if more than one queen lives, then the colony divides into two. Half of the bees remains with one queen, and half of the bees will move with another queen, and that another queen, they will make new hive. Got it? So the queen bee, as soon as they come out to the world, they need to kill each other. That is the fate of queen. Okay, that is the thing they have to do to become queen. Okay, the next one, the drone bee leaves the hive after few days for mating. So if the drone bees come out of the pupa, for few days they will stay in the hive. Okay, for few days they will stay in the hive, and then they leave the hive, they go out, and when they go out, they will never come back. The drone bees, after leaving the hive, will never come back. Hey, wait, I told you earlier that drone bees fertilize queen bee, isn't it? But what's happening here? As soon as drone bees come out of their pupa, after resting for few days, they leave the hive. And they will never come back. How will they fertilize the queen? Yes. So the fertilization of queen or mating with queen does not occur inside hive. Okay. What happens? The queens and the drone, they have to undergo a process called nuptial flight. Okay, all the queens, all new queens especially, not the old queens, and sometimes old queens as well, if they are out of sperm, then these queens have to leave the hive. Okay, all the queens of particular area, they leave the hive and gather in a place, and they release a special hormone, they release a special chemical, and that chemical acts as a signal for drone bees. Okay, taking the signal, all the newly hatched drone bees also gather to that place. Okay, and the drone bees, they start to fly above the queen bees. They will form a cloud, and the cloud may contain up to 11,000 drones. There are so many drones. Okay, from a hive, if one queen emerges, then around 400 drones emerges from the same hive. Okay, so there are two vast number of drones compared to queen bees. Okay, and then while in the state of flying, queen bees, they mate with several drones. They do not mate with only one, but the queen has to mate with several drones, as many as it can. A queen bee mates with as many drone bees as it can, and gathers as much sperm as it can. Okay, and the queen stores all the sperms within its abdominal pouch. Okay, then after, the queen bee returns to its own hive. The queen bee returns to its own hives. Okay, if the queen bee, if there are no other queen in the hive, that queen is accepted. If there is another queen, then that queen have to, the new queen have to convince some of the worker bees to follow her. If she cannot convince them, then the workers will kill her. Okay, so she has to convince some of the workers to follow her, and then she takes these workers from old hive to a new place where she will build a new hive. She will start a new colony. And what about drone bees? Drone bees, they are not accepted inside hive because they do not perform any work. They don't prepare cells, they don't make cells, they don't protect the hive. Okay, they don't go out for searching food, they don't make any honey, so they are not wanted in the colony. They only eat. Okay, that's why whenever drone bee tries to return to hive, the workers sting it off. The workers will not let the drone to enter. If the drone tries to enter forcefully, then the workers kill it. Okay, if the drone simply flies away, then due to starvation the drone dies. Yes, okay, that is the fate of drone. And this entire event is known as nuptial flight. It is a special event in the life of honeybee. Yes, especially the queen bee. Read the note. Nuptial flight is a great event in the life cycle of honeybee. The newly hatched queen bees from all the hives within an area gather at the same place. The newly hatched drones also gather to the place and fly above the queen bees. The drone cloud contains up to 11,000 drones. In this event, a single queen bee mates with several drone bees. The queen receives millions of sperms in the process. The queen stores the sperms in a pouch inside the abdomen. After the completion of mating, queen flies away to start a new colony, whereas the drones are not skilled for searching food or making honey, so they die off due to exhaustion. Any confusion? Okay, this much for our today's class. In our next class, we will discuss some other features of honeybee and importance of honey. Okay, until then, I'd like to wrap my class here. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you, class.